this is for the ones joining the university, the ones who are still there, and also for you who are out. Please let us share about what we have learned so that someone else may learn. And also for the parents taking their children to the university, I'm here to tell you what to expect. Hello lovelies, and I call you lovely because no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, you are still lovely. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, which is all about mental health awareness and wellness. Today, as you can tell from the title of the video, I wanted to give my campus experience. We all had those teaching practice teachers, the teachers who would come fresh from university. They would give us nice stories about universities. I remember we even went to Kenyatta University as a school trip so that we could see what happens in the university, so that we could want to go to the university. And it was good, okay, but can we please learn about the other side of it? So I am here to talk about the real challenges that usually face someone when in university. I feel like most of us, and it's usually most of us come from families whereby we're the first ones to go to the universities. So parents don't really know what to expect. They don't know what to tell us. They tell us things based on what they have heard. Their experiences are usually different based on the person, their personality, where they've come from. So it's always a different thing. So I wanted to talk about the different main things that usually affect your mental health when you're in the university. And through this, I'm going to share my campus story, what I went through, all the challenges that I came about, so that you can be ready for them, and also obviously what you can do maybe to prevent them, or whenever they come, how you may handle them. So I wanted to start from the beginning, in the beginning.
Yeah.
So the beginning starts from where you now choose your careers. So you see, for me, I wanted to be a doctor, and then unfortunately or unfortunately, I got a B+, which wouldn't take me to medical school. So I had to select another course. So I remember my mom telling me to maybe consider going to the KMTC, which is the Kenya Medical Training College. And nobody wanted to go to the college. I wanted to go to the university. So I was like, nah, let me just do what I can be able to do there. On the other hand, the disadvantage about that is I didn't have anyone to guide me in the choosing of the course that I wanted to pursue. So I went just to the cyber, selected a bunch of courses that I didn't even know what they were about, and I put psychology as the first priority, and that is what I got. At that time, I wasn't as excited about it because I was just selecting random courses, psychology, environmental science. What else? I don't even remember what else I selected, but I got chosen for the psychology. And the only thing I knew about psychology was the fact that I'm going to be in a hospital, just because an aunt of mine had done the same, and she was interning at the referral hospital around Naivasha. So I highly encourage, when people are selecting their courses, there needs to be that guidance. Have someone who knows about the courses, what it needs to be there, what subjects you even need to have passed so that you be there, the grades, the cutoff points. You really need to get a guide so that you may end up doing the right thing, the thing that you enjoy, the thing that you are proud of, the thing that actually goes with your personality. So in psychology, mainly when you're doing career guidance and counseling, some tests are usually done, and then you're given like 3 courses that best suit you, so that you can now select which one you want. Fast forward, I went to the university, and then apparently people are being allowed to change their courses within, I think, the first 1 month, and your girl wasn't aware. I don't know what was happening at that period, but was just not aware, so I ended up doing my psychology. I talked about the choosing of the courses, but also I want to talk about the advice that you're given before you go to school. You know how it is always like, oh, people go to the university and they get spoiled, they can get into bad behavior. And let me tell you, it is okay. We understand. Parents want the best for us. But if you do not know what actually happens, please look for someone who has been there and they can correctly guide someone. What this did to me was it made me scared. I was afraid. I did not want to get pregnant. I did not want to catch diseases. I did not want to disappoint my mom. So the downside of this was that I now got to be afraid to even interact with people. So what this made me do is that I would stay in my house, in my hostel, watching movies, or just be in class. After class, I go to my room, watch movies, and then maybe go to church on Sunday. And this actually made my social life non-existent. I did not get into clubs, I did not get to meet different people. So what I would advise is, yes, there is a potential of maybe getting into the wrong company. But once you know the kind of people you want to hang out with, people who have the same values as you, people who have the same likes and preferences as you, I actually advise you to go for it. Go for it, because most of the time, I remember even during orientation we were told the academics are like 25%, the rest is social life. And you can imagine mine was non-existent, so I only went there and got my 25% and went home. So moving on, let's now come to friendship. I've talked about the kind of friends that you should have, people who align with your values, align with your preferences, and the challenge that can be there is now, how do you go about making friends? And for me, I've told you, I had friends, but not as much as I had wished or I wish I had made right now. So you find that you have that challenge of making friends. I found that most of my circle of friends was with people who we were in the same class with, or people who we went to church with. Most of them, we did not really align personality-wise or even the same likes that we had together. So I did not really get the most out of it. And unfortunately, most of them, even right now, we are not friends because we fell apart, because maybe what was joining us together was the fact that we were doing the same course, or we were living the same hostel, or we were in the same church group, which is not something that actually made us stick together. So find your friends. Do not be afraid to explore, go out and meet different people. The other thing about making friendships is I advise you do it early. Do it even in your first year. So you see, for me, I was afraid of getting into wrong companies and all of that. And by the time I realized the importance of having people, I was in third year. And you can imagine during third year, people already met, people already have their two circles. So it was really, really hard to go and be an extra addition to that circle of friends. So it was really hard for me. And then it comes with a lot of insecurities, doubting yourself. If it was clubs for me, I was even afraid of joining them in like third year, because most people my age or my class were already pros in what they were doing, and here I am as a beginner. Because I remember I actually wanted to join the choir, wanted to be in the drama things, and be in salsa as well. I've always loved ballroom dancing, but I couldn't. Why? Because it was too late for me, or so I thought. So I was like, these people, how will they see me? Will they be willing to teach me? But if you're like me and you're in those other years and you actually really want to join them, I encourage you to do it, because at the end of the day, nobody was born doing what they are doing. They were all beginners at some point, and if they are good people and worth joining, they can always encourage you and teach you their ways, because they have learned a thing or two. The next challenge was in academics. So you know the way you're always told, oh, you'll just do a semester, you'll have maybe those units that you're taking, and then the exams will only come from those units, not some other classes, or they will come from that semester, and that is fine. But the workload, let me tell you, the workload that is there. A unit can have so many different topics and you have to master them. At the end of the day, during the exams, you do 4 questions, each 25 marks, and you have to do them based on different topics. And then you have so many units that you have to do. You have the common courses, you have your the core courses that go in hand with what you're majoring in, and then you have the elective subjects, which are even things that you did not even choose, but you have to do them anyway. So there's a lot of workload, and for me, fortunately, I am a bright person, not bragging, but I have that capability to just go in a class, maybe listen to the lecturer and learn what they are saying, or even miss class. Sorry mom, I hope you don't hear this. I can even miss classes and catch up very quick, because I can grasp concepts very quick. But you can imagine someone who doesn't have that capability, because we're all different. So the academics, you have to be ready for them, you have to study, you have to do it in time, go to classes which are crazy, especially during my first year. They were crazy. You'd go from class to class to class, so it's a lot. And then the assignments, you'd find some lecturers give you like 3, 4, 5 assignments just to get 30 marks. I don't get it, but it's fine. So you have to be ready for that. The next thing is now time management. Of course, we are excited. Nobody is going to check on you. There's no bell to tell you to go to the next class. There's nobody going to come and wake you up at it's time for preps. This is a good thing, but it's also a challenge, because now you've been left to decide on your own how you're going to spend your time. So most of the times you'd find that you can easily fall into the trap of, nah, I don't care about classes, I'm not going to classes. Most people used to go to spend time in their rooms watching movies. Some would go and play PS. Some would maybe even not be in school, do their other things, and then come during exam time. So you have to really be prepared about that. You have to learn how to manage your time properly. You have to incorporate all these different things, the academics, the extracurricular, socializing, free time, doing fun things. It's very key to manage your time well, so that you can get the most out of it. The next thing is relationships. I'll say on my part, I did not date in high school. So there's that thing of dating when you go to the university. Fortunately for me, or unfortunately, I had already gotten in a relationship when I was 19, right after high school. So when I was going to campus, I already had a boyfriend, and it was cool and all. And that actually saved me from getting into many trial and errors relationships when I was in campus. But it broke off during my 3rd year. So you can imagine I am in 3rd year. I had hoped that this was the love of my life and how we were going to get married. I was actually even engaged. Most people know this who know me from back then. And I was hoping that right after school I would get married, but alas, life hits you. Let me tell you, we broke up and I did not know where to start, and unfortunately I had lost myself even, so it was a new beginning for me. Time to find myself, time to find friends. I didn't even have like real boyfriends because they always saw me post my boyfriend and they would keep away. So it was just a really tough transition for me. So relationships can be challenging. You may find boyfriends, you may find people who just want casual flings, you may find people who are also experimenting and they go from one person. You'll go through heartbreaks. That is all going to happen. You're going to meet different people. It's just a really tough mess. So you have to be prepared for that. The thing that I would say, just know yourself, know what you want, know how to check for red flags. Don't assume or maybe ignore them and be like, oh, I'm just in love. And the way even like those two first puppy loves are so sweet and you end up being heartbroken. You also have to be ready for heartbreaks anyways. They're going to happen. It's part of life. We all hope that our first love is our last love, but if it doesn't happen, then it's still okay. The other thing is about wanting to fit in. So the other thing that comes with university is you meet a lot of different people from different places. Okay, so you can imagine I was a small girl from Naivasha, a very small town, and you go and meet people from Nairobi, from Mombasa, even from abroad, from other countries, and you're brought together and you have to coexist together. So you can imagine me being a small town girl, meeting people from big cities. It was obviously like a culture shock of some sort. Well, it wasn't that hard, but it also came with its own share of struggles because you want to fit in. I remember I used to meet friends from Nairobi and they would speak this English, and I came from Naivasha. Kwanza, I want to talk about those people. They meet their Nairobi friends and then they talk English, a lot of English, and then when they come back to you, they talk Swahili. Do you think I don't know English? Am I not talking English? Well, it may not be as fluent as yours because most of them grew up being taught to English and my first language was Swahili. It's okay, but it used to really annoy me. The other thing is that you would find that there are people who actually want to copy everything that they see there. So people get into a phase of putting on rings on their faces, adding piercings and everything. They follow that trend. You'd find there's a certain trend that is happening, they follow that. So you can easily fall into that trying to fit in when you're not comfortable with yourself and where you come from. So be comfortable with that. Also, we're not saying that we cannot improve, but be careful. What are you changing into? Is it into the worst or into the best version of you? And I can say for me, I feel like I actually improved a lot. I was able to gain confidence. I changed even my dressing. You should see how I went to university. I remember I had a certain wig on. I remember even the previous day we went for a photo shoot for the family, and I look at those photos and I'm like, child, what were you thinking? So I had a certain wig on. I'll insert a photo if I find it. And then I had this cute dress that I wore. And then I had heels on. It was a pretty dressing code, but it was inappropriate. For the first day you're going to the university, you're going to have all those long queues, you're going to walk from one corner to the other, and then you're wearing a dress and heels. Child, don't do that. You should be dressing comfortably, and then Eldoret is cold, so I should have worn warm clothes and comfortable clothes for traveling and all. So that's changed. So what I was saying is that I really changed, and I feel like I changed for the best. That's what I'm hoping. And also in terms of like makeup, I went there not doing any makeup. Then I started experimenting with just lipstick, and then it went to eyebrows, the shaving and drawing. So you get to improve a lot, but hopefully it's for the best. Be careful not to turn to the worst. So that goes also to the parents. You may find that you're too strict on your child. The moment they go to the university, they start experimenting. You don't even know what your child is doing there, and you end up getting your son or daughter back, and you're wondering, who is this? Is this my child? So the next thing is now that experimentation. There is a lot of things to experiment with. There is relationships, there is drugs, there is alcohol. We have addictions. We have even video games. You know, those can be addictive. Let us not even talk about betting, because that is also something. You find that someone is sent for school fees or rent money, they go betting on it, and it all goes away. It's a struggle. You have to be ready for that. Be careful. If you find that you're overdoing something, be careful about it. It's okay to want to know what it's about, what is this thing that people talk about, but be very wary of being addicted, because most people actually develop their addictions in campus, and then they're like, let me just have fun for now and then I'll change in future. You never know. You may have those addictive tendencies, and you end up getting to something that you may not easily be able to come out of. The next thing is finances. I think I should even have mentioned this to begin with. Finances are a struggle, especially when you come from a not so able family, or when your expectations or your demands or what you want to use your money for exceeds what your parents can be able to provide. So first of all, we have the student loans. I remember, should I not say? To cut the long story short, I did not want to get the student loans, but I was made to get them because we were not that able financially. So of course those are also a pain in the back, because of course you have to pay them later on. So most of the people used to take that student loan and squander it. Let me warn you, you're going to pay that money. Like, it will be a struggle because you will not have anything to remember doing it for. You go and party, you go and spoil girls, you go and buy shoes or whatever, and you will always live to remember that I am paying this thing and I cannot even see like it was not like a worthy investment. So for me, I actually did that to pay my school fees, and then my mom would send me pocket money, like money to use for shopping and everything. So finances can be a struggle. There are people who come from families where they are not able, and they are told, you just go to school. Maybe they go sell some land or animals, and then you're told to cater for yourself for the rest. So it's good to be able to know where you come from, also know what to do. Because if you come from a family that is struggling, then of course you have to fend for yourself. And I really, really admired people who used to do this. And if I am not complaining, God, I am really, really thankful. But I feel like people who come from the struggling families are the ones who actually get entrepreneurial early on. So you see them selling mandazis, they sell chapatis, they sell foodstuffs in general, they can sell clothes. I remember some guy used to bring cake from Naivas in Eldoret, and he would sell it at 100 bob. I think he would buy it at 60 or 70 shillings, go through the hostels and then make money. And I wish I could have done that to maybe get an extra income. But who was Maryanne? I was comfortable. I would get my money, I would even shop online, get the new shoes, new clothes. Anyway, with financial management, you have to start that early so that you can even learn the basics of investments, of savings, of budgeting as well, so that you don't use money in the wrong way even afterwards. So we have our daily challenges that actually may be affecting our lives, maybe relationships. We are seeing people actually killing each other in the universities because of love triangles. It may be issues to do with at home, people go through grief. You may even find yourself in addictions. You may find yourself being affected with different things. And it is very important to make use of the counselors, because even if you do not deal with your issues, then they will come and affect you in later life, and at one point or another you just need some counseling. So why not make use of those free counselors? So those are the things that I wanted to talk about in the university experience. I want to hear from you. What were your experiences? What were the struggles? And what did you do about it? Because at the end of the day, we are here to learn how to manage things so that they do not affect our mental health. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, comment, share with your friends or family or whoever will be helped with this, and subscribe if you haven't. Remember that this is not a therapy session. Always seek for professional help if you are going through a hard time, and remember that mental health is for everyone. Until next time, bye bye.